the health benefits attributed to it. But it's best to get the lowdown on malunggay from a renowned health expert. With us now is Dr. Marthany Basco. He is a child and public health specialist with Medical City. Good afternoon,
Yes,
Doctor.
good afternoon, Caroline.
Initially, we're talking malunggay here. Why this renewed interest in this particular plant?
Well, this particular plant has been in existence long before we existed in Egypt, in certain parts of Africa and Asia. And now they're having researches regarding the benefits of malunggay. And good enough, the Philippines is one of the places where malunggay has a very good species, the malunggay oleifera.
So it's readily available.
It's readily available. It's a very popular concoction regarding tinola and mungo. It's very popular dish in the provinces.
It's actually the most familiar way to take it.
Right.
But I'm sure there's more to that. We'll get to that a little
Yes,
later. But
yes.
looking at the benefits of this particular plant, how beneficial is it really?
Well, our viewers can say that, and they can also see in the internet that it has a lot of potency and pharmacological benefits like it's anti-hypertensive, anti-diabetic, anti-arthritic, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, all of the rest of the stuff. The Ayurvedic medicine of India has actually listed 300 illnesses that malunggay is beneficial from. And I can state that on air right now, but they can actually check the internet regarding this.
But it's taken in what form? As we said earlier, we're getting to that now. We take it as part of our meals,
That's
as
right.
vegetables, in
That's right.
fact, or additions.
That's right, exactly. Well, Caroline, the plant is actually a tree. It has leaves, stem, and roots. And all parts of the tree are very much complete in essential amino acids, multivitamins, and minerals. And it is rare for a plant to have that quality.
But again, in terms of looking into the elements now of malunggay, ano ba yung component niya na masasabi mo, this is where it's coming from?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Like most of the multivitamins that we take in as synthetic, we can actually find in food. And malunggay is one of these. Multivitamins is present. And we also have minerals. Minerals in the form of iron, magnesium, calcium, etc. We also have amino acids. There are actually 21 essential amino acids. And it is found mostly in meat products, in dairy products, in poultry, and in fish. And quite interestingly and uniquely, it is found only in malunggay as a plant. So the only plant that has complete essential amino acids is malunggay. And it also has something that we call chlorophyll that makes plants more unique in producing food via photosynthesis.
Actually, that part is rather obvious, but the thing we don't know is how effective it is. But in terms of serving size, though, to be able to get the most out of malunggay, how much do you have to take in?
Okay, they say that in 100 grams of malunggay, we have to compare the fresh leaf, which is readily accessible in quite leaves, and the dry leaf. When the leaf is fresh, it has much moisture and water content. Therefore, it dilutes the nutritional content of it. That's why in concentrated form, we prefer the dried form to you. However, when you dry it out and when you cook it, much of the nutrients are also broken down because of the heat process. Now, there's a study that compared malunggay with other fruits and vegetables.
Let's get into that.
Yeah, comparing the contents. Like, when you compare 100 grams of malunggay, it is equivalent to 40 medium-sized oranges with
Give us an
regards to
idea.
vitamin C.
100 grams, what is that?
Well, 100 grams is about one plate of malunggay, and rarely do people have that at home. So now they buy it in supermarkets or otherwise in gas stations where they can have it, or they can resort to the supplement of malunggay, which is readily available and performed. So going back to the nutritional content, vitamin C in malunggay is comparable to 14 times the vitamin C of oranges. It also has vitamin A, which is good for the eyes. It's comparable to carrots, 8 carrots medium size compared to 1 ration or 100 grams of malunggay. And not only that, it has also calcium, which is found in milk. Take 4 glasses of calcium, 4 glasses of milk, you can have that in 100 grams of malunggay.
Actually, you don't really have all that much in one sitting, do you?
Yeah, that's right. And it will be quite expensive for people to buy it. So in a nutshell, we can compare malunggay into a fruit basket. But let me correct myself. We can compare malunggay with a Christmas basket.
Okay.
Because you
In
don't
keeping
have,
with the
yeah,
season.
keeping with the season. Kaya you can have milk, you can have yogurt, you can have fruits, and even vegetables like spinach, which has lots of iron content, but it is comparable to 4 times of the iron content in malunggay.
Mhm. But are these products now available in some other form? In what other form can you actually take malunggay today?
Okay, when we prepare it at home, it's quite easy to grow malunggay in our backyard. So now people use it as a form of ulam. viand with what you call tinola and munggo. But you have to take in a lot because the
Usually
average
1 cup lang.
usually 1 cup lang, and the average Filipino diet does not give you enough nutrients and essential multivitamins, minerals, and amino acids.
So if you're looking at like a cup of malunggay or a bowl of malunggay, how much nutrition is actually in there?
Well, that's
Alone.
comparable to 14 times
Yun
if
nga.
you have the 100 grams, so 14 times the vitamin C of orange, etc. But you have to take it on a regular basis. And if you do take it in a regular basis, then you will be missing the other nutrients that you have. Because in the preparation of food, only 20 to 40% of the nutrients will be preserved when you cook it. So therefore, when you take it as a fresh type, you will have 50 to 70%. However, many of our friends in the industry have prepared malunggay for us because of our fast pace of life, our lifestyle.
And
So
keeping
now,
with the trend, I
and
would
keeping
think.
with the trend, yeah. So they now have the capsule form, and the capsule form has two types: the powder form and the oil form. The oil form. Now the powder form, you can just imagine, Caroline, how
Sunod na,
much
guys.
leaves can be
Pack
put
in
packed
there.
in a small capsule, so
Okay.
it wouldn't even have 100 grams. Well, when you have the liquid form or the oil form, it is a concentrate. It is the lifeblood that you get in, and that it is a more concentrated form. So between the powder form and the concentrated form, the oil form, I very much prefer the oil form.
So in terms of potency, the oil form is actually richer in terms of nutrition
Yes,
than
that's right. That's right. And also the powder form will have the skeleton of the leaves, what we call the soot, which is not really essential, or the ash content, which is not essential nutrients.
So again, these innovations, if you would compare them, you're talking about 14 oranges
Yes.
in
In a capsule.
In a capsule.
In a capsule. That's right. So it makes us very convenient to have this, and quite economical. Because imagine yourself buying a 1,000 peso food basket or Christmas basket for yourself, and you can't eat it by yourself. Especially if you have lactose intolerance, you can't have milk.
But here's the trick.
But here's the trick. Yeah, you can have it in capsule form. That's why we need food supplements for this.
So how often does one have to take in these supplements, the malunggay supplements, to be able to get the most out?
Okay. In general, food supplements are taken 1 to twice a day, depending on the prescription of your health physician. And when you do take it, it maximizes your potential. For example, for us in television, we're very much concerned with the way we look. So therefore, food equals function, your purpose. If you're an executive, then you have to be cognitive or intellectual. So in order for you to be creative and cognitive, you have to take in food together with supplements, because the supplements will actually motivate or digest food in order to serve its purpose for you.
And in terms of serving that purpose, there have been studies in the market as well
Yes,
on how effective these supplements can actually be.
That's true. There's a joke in the internet that they will try to search for it that Manny Pacquiao, actually the congressman, the eighth wonder pro, actually took malunggay before he had the competition, and much or more of the athletes would do that to boost their energy and their stamina. And it's in the internet.
Pero yung actual studies,
Well, the actual studies would be validated by the internet or by the studies that are co-authored or authored by researchers.
but again, this is usually something that we're more familiar, associated with,
Malunggay.
with lactating
That's
mothers,
right, that's
or
right.
malunggay with lactating mothers.
Yes, Caroline.
So I'm wondering whether, is that the only benefit there is to malunggay?
Well, unfortunately, it was delayed or packaged as such. But it's good for the parents, or it's good for the nursing mother, because it enhances their milk production, and it also has the what we call LAM, the lactating amenorrhea method.
Sino po magbibigay?
As long as mothers breastfeed, they will not get pregnant easily. So now malunggay becomes a birth control pill.
Or you say, this is not a myth.
Oh, this is not a myth. This is true. These are based on
Even
studies.
the lactation, the improved lactation is not a myth.
Exactly.
Except that this is again not the only benefit to
Yes,
it.
that's true, that's true. So we're missing the point that malunggay can also be used as an antibiotic. So they can prepare concoctions and even have the leaf, or the stem, and put it on the wounds. Which is also anti-arthritic, anti-inflammatory. And they can find 300 reasons of the use of malunggay based on the studies that are being done.
Name two.
Name two. Well,
Aside from everything we've said so far.
okay, they say that it cures insomnia, and I tried that. Well, being a doctor, I tried to stay up late because of studying, and when I took in the these food supplements, I slept like a baby, and my students were quite worried because I wasn't in class on time.
So now this kind of supports that theory about the milk in this particular.
Exactly. And not only the milk, because the essential protein called tryptophan, which is not found in the body and needs to be supplemented from external sources, is very much rich in malunggay. Tryptophan is converted into serotonin. Serotonin activates the sleep center in the brain.
So again, probably final words, Doc, to those who would be interested to get to know this particular plant all over again.
Yeah, okay. So I will have to summarize my points in 3 letters, MLO. First M would be malunggay. Malunggay is what we call now the miracle tree. It's not only biblical, but it has also been based on researches because it has so many uses, not only for cosmetics, not only for nutrition, but also pharmacologic in treating other diseases. Next would be, if you would like to have a life, then you have to balance it. So provide yourself with food that would fuel your function. And you have to take in supplements because your ordinary diet cannot balance it or cannot sustain it. So M is malunggay, L is not alive. And third would be the oil form is more beneficial because it will provide you with concentrated, pure, potent, and powerful form of malunggay extra, which is quite preserved, conserved, and readily available.
Okay, on that note then, Dr. Marthany Basco, Child and Public Health Specialist with the Medical City. Maraming salamat.
Maraming
At introduction
salamat.
to malunggay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very
Maraming
much.
salamat.
Okay.
If you want to know how to avoid the 12 pounds at Christmas, better stay tuned. We'll talk about that after the break. Shop Talk will be right back.
Okay, kwentuhan lang muna sandali.
Thank you, Doctor.